All right, guys. Well, welcome back to another episode by Mining Store. This is Will speaking, and I hope you all had a nice Easter break and enjoyed some time with your families. No doubt you're probably almost getting sick of your loved ones at the moment, but we'll get through this isolation time. And as I've been preaching, use this time, guys, to better your skills in whether it be trading or researching the markets or whatever it might be. Read a book, do something that you never get time to do usually. In this episode, I've had a lot of requests from people asking how I actually analyze the market, how I keep on top of what Bitcoin's doing, and how I make my decision to enter and exit trades. So today what I'm going to be doing is giving you guys a bit of a rundown on how I actually do that, some of the tools I use, where I trade, and give you a bit of an overview of what Bitcoin's doing in my eyes, and where we're going in the next maybe 2, 3, 4 months, even 1 or 2 years. Okay. So to answer the first question, I suppose, where do I trade? I trade with Mind Digital. Mining Store's got a partnership with Mind Digital. We have become very close with the CEO, Grant, and also his business partner, Matt Starkey. These are really good guys. They preach a lot of the values that we preach at Mining Store, just really trying to make this a better, safer, more educated place, bringing things to mass adoption level. So as you guys know, I've actually sold out of my Bitcoin position at the moment. I'm not currently sitting in Bitcoin. I'm I suppose eagerly sitting on the sidelines, waiting to re-enter. I don't tend to trade too much, to be honest. I might put in 1-2 trades a month max, I reckon. Even sometimes in a year I only do 5 or 10 trades, other than maybe a few micro trades in and out, and I'm going to be going through that today. But this is the My Digital platform. You're able to basically, upload some funds into here. It's an AUD, and then you can easily buy Bitcoin here. You can buy US Tether. Sometimes I sit in US Tether, so that I'm still in the crypto, mostly for taxation purposes, and sometimes I sell out to Australian dollars. When the market kind of capitulated, I actually sold into Australian dollars because I was a little bit worried just about, how things are going in general. I thought holding Australian dollars was a bit safer. So that's why I'm in Australian dollars right now rather than US Tether. But it's a really great platform, guys. It's really well designed, so easy to use for beginners. You've got your portfolio section here. You click on the trade section here, and that'll open where you trade. You can see that the liquidity here. You can buy up to 4, 10, whatever Bitcoin or sell them. And yeah, really, really great place. On top of that, you'll often find that the actual price of Bitcoin is cheaper than other exchanges, which is really awesome. For us as a business selling mining hardware, we're often buying large amounts of Bitcoin, and if saving $30 a Bitcoin actually adds up in the long term, or whatever it might be. So right now the price, I can buy 0.5 of Bitcoin for $10,781. An exchange I used in the past, for example, might be BTC Markets, and it's actually $10,821 there. So quite a nice spread there, to the advantage of the buyer on using Mind Digital. So yeah, just one of the major benefits. The other reason, as you can see, I am holding a bit of a large amount of funds in here. I feel very safe doing this. There is custodial, there is insurance. I know the owners. They're in our Mining Store Discord. So if we just come across here, scroll down, Grant Colthrop is in here. He's not online at the moment, but if you search for his name, it's Grant. Okay, not 100% sure what's happening right there, but maybe if I click Grant, you'll find him in here anyway, guys. Maybe it's this specific channel. Oh, there he is, just right there, Grant MD. Okay. So you can message him. If you sign up through Mind Digital, you actually get $50, free for signing up as a Mining Store member. So I'll post the link in the description. This is this link here, and you'll basically, once you've signed up, you'll be able to claim $50 free. If you guys want to, you may as well, put that into Bitcoin straight away. And if it goes up in 5 years' time or whatever it be, get your toes wet, get involved. Another great reason to actually sign up to exchange, even if you're not ready to start start trading, and I do encourage you to do your research and due diligence before you start trading. But another reason to sign up is if Bitcoin, and we're going to look at some charts now, but say, I mean, it does absolutely capitulate like it did here. We had so many people messaging us that have been with Mining Stall before, or, they've, sitting on the sidelines waiting to sign up with us, and they're like, oh, can you set me up? Can you set me up? Or how do I put money in? And, I really just kind of said to them, look, I've warned you about this in the past. I'm not telling you to go and buy Bitcoin right now, but just get set up in case things like this happen, and you really want to get some Australian dollars in the market so you can buy up at these lows, and that way you're ready to go. As I say, you get $50 free Bitcoin as well. Grant's really awesome. I actually called Grant about, I think, 11 o'clock at night when this crash happened, to deposit some more funds in. He approved it, credited my account before the bank funds had even hit there, because I showed him the receipt that I had deposited. Okay, guys, so really special relationship we have there. Strongly recommend you sign up with the Mind Digital guys, claim that $50 for free, put it into Bitcoin, let it sit there, do your research, and then start to think about getting some exposure to Bitcoin. All right, but let's crack in and have a look at the charts. So this is obviously my personal opinion, as always, guys, not financial advice, but I'm just going to go over kind of what I see with Bitcoin. And when I'm looking, maybe once every 2 or 3 days, sometimes every morning, I'll jump on and just have a look at the charts and have a look what I'm thinking. And I'll draw some different things and map out where I think Bitcoin's going. And I'm going to basically show you the different tools that I use. I honestly only really use probably 5 or 6 different tools and indicators, and we're going to go over them right now. So for a beginner, you always want to just come to the daily or even the monthly to start with. And basically, when we go on the monthly, every one of these candlesticks is representing 1 month. So that's 1 month of trading, data. Basically, the top, this is what we call a wick on a candle. So the top of this wick is the highest the price was in this given month. The bottom of the wick, the bottom wick, at the very bottom of it, is the lowest the price was during that month. If the candle is green, then the open price is the bottom of the candle and the close price is the top. If if the candle is red, then the top of the candle. One second, I'm just gonna have a drink of water. Sorry, guys. Pardon me. If the top of the candle, if the candle is red, then the top of it is the open price and the bottom of it is the close price. Okay, so that makes it pretty simple for everyone who didn't know that. And basically, what you want to do when you first start out is just zoom out to the monthly and have a look at where things are at. Okay. So as we can see, obviously Bitcoin was tracking along up until 2017 at pretty low prices. And then all of a sudden it absolutely took off and we entered what we call a bubble, where every, I suppose, man and their dog, or, even your taxi driver or whoever it was saying, oh, have you heard about this Bitcoin kind of thing? People don't know what they're buying in. And then all of a sudden, the market kind of crashes and comes all the way back down. Okay. So this is what I probably would consider a fair price for Bitcoin over the past few years, between $4,000 and $3,000. All right. So whenever it comes down here, as you can see, this wick recently actually got us back down towards that low. My eyes start lighting up with dollar signs, and light bulbs going, and I'm going, oh yep, I'm going to pick some up here. Okay. So, as I said before, I'm sitting on the sidelines right now, and the reason for that is I sold my Bitcoin at about 7,800 as I started seeing this big red candle. I was like, this doesn't look good. The coronavirus was clear that it was going to be spreading in multiple countries, and ultimately, despite I think Bitcoin has a really great future, it was just what we call a bit of a liquidity capitulation. People are losing heaps of money in the stock market, and they needed to sell out any assets they have to fund margin positions, or just maybe even to stay in their house or things like this. Okay. So we saw a big market capitulation. I sold out as we started to see this, and I was sitting on the sidelines for a while. I did actually pick some Bitcoin up at about 4,000, no, not 4,000, about 4,500. Yeah, it was 4,500. It got as low as about 3,850, although this chart doesn't show that. I didn't quite get the bottom, but I did pick some up at about 4,500. And then if we just come closer into the daily, so let's try and find around about where I made that trade. So is it down here? Yeah, it was around about here. Yes. So I bought in about here, and then I sold here because I thought Bitcoin was going to keep coming down. It proved me wrong, and it actually broke out of what we call a consolidation box. So if I grab this rectangle here, and we can kind of see how it's trading up and down between this box, and then it broke out, and so I didn't panic. I didn't go, oh, I better buy because it could come back down. You don't know. I'm just sitting patiently on the sidelines waiting. And so I made a nice trade there from 4,500 to 5,200. Sold out too early. So be it. You can't win them all. But so far, I've missed out on these profits coming here. But I'm not angry about that. I'm not disappointed, and I'm not fearful about it. I mean, at the end of the day, I sold at 7,800 and I bought back here. So until Bitcoin actually hits 7,800 again, I'm not really in a loss over this period. And I've made a nice percentage gain here of about $700 US per Bitcoin from this nice little trade I did around this area. So all good. I'm all right with it kind of trending upwards. I do think that the global markets in general are due for a correction, and I'm kind of anticipating that we're going to see another downturn, and I'm hoping to pick back up around this area here. Okay, so what I've basically done here is I've given you an idea. I've kind of showed you what I look at. I'm understanding the historical events that have occurred. So we had a massive bubble. We've had a massive crash. Things kind of sloped down. They capitulated again, and then we've picked up since then. And now, we had another capitulation due to the coronavirus and global circumstances. And now we're trending up again. And now I'm waiting for it to come back down to pick up. Now, storage of value is something that people talk about with Bitcoin. They consider it to be like gold, okay? And as we know, gold has an intrinsic value. It's not a piece of paper that you can't do anything with. You can use it for jewelry, you can use it for computers, you can, hold it in a safe. It's a thing. And when bad times come around, people look for those storage of value assets. Now, the reason why they have a storage of value is because they're limited. There's only ever going to be a certain amount of gold in the world. We can't just kind of create gold out of thin air. It takes a long time for, the carbon or, I'm not going to go into the science of it all, but it takes a long time for gold to be, I suppose, produced naturally, and there's a limited supply of it. Now, Bitcoin is very similar. There is only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoin in circulation, okay? There will not be any more Bitcoin created. So basically, right now, there's 18 of those 21 million Bitcoin in circulation, and the other 3 million Bitcoin are sitting in what we call a reserve, and the miners, when they solve blocks, they get paid a bit of that reserve, okay? Again, we won't go into the technicals because this is a trading a trading webinar, but basically I'm just giving you an understanding of the properties that are behind this asset, okay? And that's why we see it having a long-term upward trend. I mean, there's inflation and things like that cause these long-term upward trends, but in general, Bitcoin has outperformed nearly every market over the past 5, 10, 15, 10 years or so. Bitcoin has outperformed nearly every market, and I strongly believe that's because it has this storage of value. There's a very limited amount of it, okay? Now, an event coming up very soon, I think it's about May 13, it's coming up. And it's called the Bitcoin halving, okay? That 3 million Bitcoin that I talked about before that's sitting in reserve, that's used to pay out, miners, okay? And the amount that miners are currently getting per block is about 12 Bitcoin, and that's going to reduce, okay, by half. So around this date here, the new supply coming into this market is going to reduce by half, and so we can expect with less supply in the market that price should go up. So basically what I'm painting here is in the long term, it's got a storage of value. Right now we're in a bit of a crisis. People are looking for different financial assets to invest in. And I think Bitcoin has a lot of potential after this halving date to really skyrocket in price and start coming back towards this 11,000 mark. So I'm getting ready to buy. I'm really struggling to sit on my hands and not buy at this price here because, at the end of the day, what's $1,000? I mean, I may as well just buy in and hold long, but sticking to my trading strategy, sticking to my gut feel that I don't think we're going to quite break out just yet. I think we will see a little bit lower, but I definitely am going to be starting to pick up some exposure and around this period. Even if it does come down to these lows, I'll probably just pick up some more, and then, you know, I'll hold for the next 1, 2, 3 years and sell out at key price levels. Okay. So that's kind of my overall strategy, guys. As I say, I don't really trade, you know, 10 to 15 times a week. I'm not in and out trying to pick it. I try to pick really big downturns like these capitulations. I'll try pick some up, or when we're really high at the top, you know, all-time highs, or key price levels, I will look to sell off some exposure. And that's all I really do. So let's go into some of the indicators I use. That term that I'm talking about are key price levels. How do I find them? You know, these lines on my chart, these horizontal lines, are key price levels that I've laid out to give me an understanding of where we're ranging between, and whether we're looking a bit too top heavy of where above this price level, or you know, when we might see a market turnaround. Because when the market approaches these price levels, we get what we call a fight between the bears and the bulls. The bulls are the ones, you know, people buying up the asset, and bears are the ones selling it off. And we get a lot of volume of trades, and people are buy, sell, and then one of, you know, the buyers will buy more and the price will break out. And that's where we see things like this wick, this candle here. So, you know, the market, you know, goes sideways for a bit. Bears are winning, bulls are winning, bears are winning, bulls are winning, bears are winning, and then it kind of breaks out of the top, and then bears get freaked out. They're like, oh, all right, no, we've lost this battle, and it pushes out, and then it stabilizes again. Okay. So some indicators that I use, key price levels. Let's have a look. Key price levels are determined by where these fights happen. So, you know, see how the market kind of trades sideways for quite a bit here, and so does it do it here. So it kind of breaks out here, but it was trading sideways for a bit. So that's why I've put these kind of key price levels here, or these lines here. All right. Also, the bottom and top of the market are key price levels. So this point here, where after the 2018 crash, the lowest point that we reached, that's what I call major resistance line. Major support. I don't think it'll kind of break through there, and if it does, then you want to probably pull your money out and sit on the sides until it determines where the next lowest point is going to be. And yeah, so basically where we see these trading sideways points, I call them key price levels, or where the market breaks out of. So, you know, the market kind of broke out of, then started trading sideways. I call that a key price level as well. So that's the first thing I like to paint, and I call it paint because, as you can see, I'm kind of painting a picture here, compared to looking at a blank chart where you're like, I don't really know what's going on here. When you start to add these trend lines and these key price levels, or pitchforks, which I'll go into next, you start to paint a bit of a picture and understand where the market is heading. Okay. So after I've put in my key price levels, I like to start putting in some trend lines. I don't always use trend lines, but if I feel like the market is reversing in trend, I want to start getting some trend lines, engaging, you know, where the bottom of that trend line might be. So these purple lines I've kind of just put in from the low of 2019 and hit the bottom of the market. I can see it kind of hitting here, and then here. So I've drawn this trend line in to indicate, you know, some upward trending points where the market has hit before, and obviously it broke through here, and that's why we had a bit of a capitulation. Okay, so if we started getting towards here, I would start to think you know, Bitcoin's a bit price heavy, unless it breaks out, and, you know, I'd be expecting it to start to pull back down. Same with this lower level trend line here. Okay, similar kind of thing. I've gone through this point to this point, and then it's kind of pushed through this point here where the market reversed, and basically we're starting to see the market bounce off this lower level trend line. Okay. Now, another really cool tool that I like to use, and it creates trend lines for you, is the pitchfork. Okay. So if we come up to this indicator over here, and by the way, guys, this is very similar. It's actually powered by TradingView. So basically, if you guys want to use this for charting your cryptocurrency charts, I'll put the link to charts.cointrader in the YouTube channel, and you can open it up and start doing it. It has all the cryptocurrencies other than some of the really small coins, but TradingView itself doesn't actually have all the cryptocurrencies. Okay, so if you want to use this, I'll put the link in here. It's absolutely free. You don't have to sign up or pay, and you can use as as many indicators as you want, okay? But yeah, over here we've got the pitchfork. So basically there's two types of pitchforks that I'm looking at. One is the upward trending pitchfork, and the way you use a pitchfork is you click the bottom of a point in the market, you click the top of a point in the market, and then you click where you think the market reversed, okay? And it draws in these really nice trend lines for you, okay? So as you can see, we're kind of trending in between this blue trend line. If we break through, then we're going to start pushing towards the regression line. And often or not, when the market hits a regression line, it pulls off, or it might break through and start trending up. I like to use this trend line, like when we start getting towards the top of this trend line, I'll probably sell off a large portion of my portfolio. I'm happy to buy back in if it breaks through and it looks like it's going to start continue trending in this area. But it's usually a really good place for me to reduce my exposure. Just going to have another drink. Okay, so now we've got a bit of a gauge of, some potential trends that we might be pushing along. If we do break down, guys, I'll probably, go, okay, cool, it's not obeying or it's not following this trend line anymore. I'll delete it and I'll start to look for other I suppose, patterns that it is following. Potentially it's following, a trend line going from this top end of the market, okay? Now, the other trend line that I am using is using a pitchfork is just the long-term downward trend since the bubble, okay? So if I go from this is the opposite thing we're doing now. We're getting a downward trend line going from the top of the market to the bottom of the market to where the market reversed from. And this is a really interesting pitchfork because it's interesting right now. We've actually just broken out of this trend line again, okay? And this is another reason leading into the halving, knowing that Bitcoin's a storage of value asset. This is another reason why I'm quite bullish on Bitcoin at the moment, okay? Yes, I'm waiting for a little bit more of a down pull. I probably might be getting a little bit cute. I probably should be getting some exposure, I feel. Although, with the state of the markets, if the stock markets have another crash, we could see this capitulate again. That's why I'm patient. But nevertheless, my view is long term. I'm happy to hold. If I buy at this price, I'm happy to hold for 1, 2, 3 years, and hopefully see some all-time highs. So I'll probably start getting exposure, guys, to be honest. All right. But basically, as you can see, this long-term downward trend line, we have broken out of the top side. If we re-enter here, then I really think it's possible that we could kind of come down to this 5 to 6K territory, and that's where I'll really start to load up. And if we go any lower than that, then I'm probably just going to close the charts for a couple of months and just wait for it to recover. That's what I do as a trader. You're not a loser until you close that position off, and I have a lot of faith in Bitcoin in the long term, so I'm willing to hold it if I pick the wrong point of the market, okay? So we will delete this pitchfork. I'm going to put the upward trending pitchfork back on because this is what I'm actually following at the moment. Basically the last 3 things that I want to go over, and these will be quite quick. I don't want to make the videos go for too long because some people, I suppose, sometimes lose interest, or I don't want to give you guys too much information at once. But the last 3 things I'll go over, and they're very simple, and all traders pretty much use them, is RSI and Bollinger Bands. So let's have a look at the RSI first. So relative strength index. If you click on indicators up the top bit here and then type in RSI, go into relative strength index, and then you can exit. I like to make it a little bit smaller because you don't really need to have it huge. It's not like, it's a pretty simple indicator to use. So I like it a little bit smaller. Now, basically the RSI, it gives us an indication of the relative strength of Bitcoin over a certain 14 is what I have it set on, point period, okay? So basically there's a 30% line, which is here, and then there's a 70% line, which is here, and we get this channel, all right? And no matter what asset class we're looking at, the RSI tends to track, and when we're breaking through the bottom of the 30% line, that usually indicates we're in a very bearish market. And looks like we could reverse. It picks the bottom of the market pretty well, I find, and it did indeed during the 2018 crash. As we saw this breakout, that was the lowest price we have ever seen for Bitcoin since. Okay, so that would have been a really nice buy to hold long term. Similar on the top end, usually it'll pick the market quite well. As you can see, Bitcoin was just too strong, and it was even pushing through and coming back, pushing through and coming back. But this one here basically picked the the top of the market pretty well as well. Okay, when it was all the way up at about 85, yeah, we were well too high. All right, so it's not the Bible. You don't follow this religiously or anything like that, but it is just a good indicator to use. And every now and then, if I'm thinking about buying, I'll just get the RSI up and go, look, would I buy right now? We're kind of in no man's land. I wouldn't mind waiting until the RSI kind of pulls down a bit further. Yeah, you can make some decisions, or just check it before you put your trades on. Okay. Now, the other thing I like to go over is volume. Volume is so important, and I would say underrated. People don't look at volume nearly enough. And that's why they'll buy at the top of these markets like here, or flash crashes or flash pumps, and they buy in and then it just crashes back down. It's really important. Basically, the way that I can explain volume is, for prices to remain high, you want, see this, that's a lot of volume right here. And that tells me that the bulls were fighting really hard to keep, they kind of won this battle. This is what I would call a market turnaround. So obviously there was a lot of volume. There was a lot of trades backwards and forwards around this price. I'm going to try and get this a little bit bigger because I quite like this for the explanation I'm trying to give. All right, so let's have a look. So this market here, basically you can see there was a lot of volume, a lot of buy and sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, and it was going up and down, up and down, up and down. And because there was so much volume here, that's a significant moment in this Bitcoin's price history. Okay, and that sets precedence for what I would believe is kind of a market turnaround. The bulls won this. The bears could not push it any lower. The bulls won this battle, and basically now we're seeing the market turn around from here. Okay. So, really cool to look at volume. If volume was really low, and this happened, happened, I wouldn't really be I wouldn't be convinced that the market's going to turn around. So when there's high volume and we're seeing turnarounds, that's a really good indicator on its own. Volume's a beast of its own thing. Do some more studies on it. I'll try and do maybe some videos later on volume and different scenarios that volume can predict or help you predict or confirm. But yeah, just something to keep your eyes on, guys. Pretty much any chart that you open up will always have volume on it. The last thing that we'll go through, and then we'll summarize a little bit, is basically just looking at candlesticks in general. So there's heaps of different types of candlesticks. My favorite, I don't know, probably just the name of it, is the long-legged doji. There's this, basically, see this candle here, how it's got a really big wick and quite a big bottom wick, and then not a very big base. That's a reversal candle. So it shows that the market opened at a certain price and it closed at a really similar price, but there was heaps of fighting in between it, and it shows that the market is probably going to turn around from where it just came. And as you can see, the bears won this, and then the market starts to turn down, but then we get quite a big this is an engulfing green candle, and basically an engulfing candle is a candle that, what I like to say, eats the candle before it. So it's bigger than the candle before it in its base, and that's also a reversal sign or a bullish sign. Opposite effect here, where this is an engulfing, it's not quite an engulfing candle, but it's a really big red candle. It shows a reversal, and then this is an engulfing bullish candle. It's bigger than the one before it, eats it, and then we see the market push up. Okay. Again, I can probably do more videos on different types of candles. You've got shooting stars, you've got hammers, there's all these different ones. I don't want to overload you guys, but I really hope that this gives you a bit of an understanding of my trading strategy. I am constantly keeping our paying subscribers up to date with my trading strategy through our Mining Store Discord, through the Elite Traders BTC channel. So just then I was, similar to what I'm saying in this video, I was showing everyone that we've broken out of this pitchfork, and it's looking tempting to buy in, but I'm still holding on the sideline. So I keep everyone up to date with what I'm doing, and so does everyone else. They tell each other what they're doing. We've got amazing talent in here, people much smarter than I, that share their trading ideas. I basically just report on everything. I will rely on Grant, who's messaging me at the moment. I'll rely on Orsham. I'll rely on Mad J, who's a private equity trader. There's all these guys in here that have unbelievable talent, and I strongly recommend that you guys get into here. I don't want to to kind of shill the Mining Store Discord too much. I am making these videos more just to help people in this space. But honestly, I find that the internet, it's a great library of information, but at the end of the day, it's all full of biased information. You know, people are always trying to move you in a certain way or influence you in a certain way. The Mining Store Discord, on the other hand, is a safe place that you can come ask any questions and get a really genuine and honest answer that's trying to help you. You're not going to get answers like, yeah, Bitcoin's going to the moon, yeah, buy up, you know, uneducated kind of answers. You're going to get people going, I believe this is what's happening. This is the research that I've done. And they're going to help you grow as an investor in general. We've got channels on stocks. Everyone's talking about, obviously, some people having a bit of fun in their trades there. We've got channels on property, what's going on in the property market. You know, some great articles being posted. We've got channels on altcoins. You know, we get access to coins, you know, or information on coins before other people sometimes, and people will share that and say, look, it's worth picking up a small exposure. These are the kind of things that we go on about in the Mining Store Discord. Strongly encourage, like, everyone is absolutely welcome to join as well. Yes, it's paying because we actually did have it free at a point, but the quality of people just coming in and out, and you know, people weren't as dedicated to building this community. So we made it paying, and we've never regretted doing that either. Everyone really, it takes a lot of pride in being a part of the Mining Store Discord. Helps other people out. It's a really safe place to be. You know, we love getting around new members. We've had heaps of new members come on recently. Steve, we've had R2D2. Everyone's got all these aliases. And yeah, basically, guys, strongly recommend you to come in. I'll leave the link to sign up below. I might even do, you know, like a 7-day free trial for some of you guys for watching this video. So I'll put a 7-day free trial link, and I'll put the password in there as well. It'll eventually come down, but I want to grow this. I want to, you know, share this with more people. This is where I get a lot of my research and understanding from, and all the people I've met in this space and all the investors. And so yeah, I want to share it with as many people as we can and grow it together. That's it for today, guys. Hope you guys are enjoying these videos. If there's anything you want me to do a video on, there's a topic or something you're not understanding, or you need help with, you know, whether it be trading or restructuring your portfolio, just leave it in the description below. I'll get around to it. Stay safe, guys. All the best, and thanks for tuning in.